How can you truly enjoy the meal unless you know the flavor? Welcome back, ABL fans. This is Big Earl, your trusted voice in Action Baseball League analysis, coming at you with our second installment of Deep Dive 25. Buckle up, because we're about to slice, dice, and dissect all the nuances of this great league. A heartfelt tip of the cap to the Charlotte Observer's beat writer for delivering an incredibly rich, 25-paragraph deep dive that captures the essence of the team, from the owner down to the bat boy, truly the work of someone deeply attuned to the heartbeat of the Colonels. Thanks for your knack for storytelling and a casual, engaging style. Okay. ABL fanatics, let's do this. Whether it's the Eastern powerhouses, the Central workhorses, or the Western wildcards, we're covering it all. Baseball purists and thrill-seekers alike, pull up a seat as we dive deep into the captivating tale of the Charlotte Colonels, the NBC's own Rubik's Cube of untapped potential and nail-biting drama. If you're one of those folks who can't get enough of the nitty-gritty, the ins and outs, the ups and downs of ABL baseball, then this deep dive is for you. It's like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You never know what treasure you're gonna find. So, settle in with your drink of choice and get ready to peel back the layers on the Charlotte Colonels, a squad that's evolved into an exhilarating mix of unrealized promise and edge-of-your-seat theatrics.
Question 1. How does the owner's personality and negotiation style influence the team's culture and performance?
The Butler Playbook, Adam Butler's crafty leadership and the fate of the Charlotte Colonels.
Come in and grab a chair, folks. Let's rap about the man behind the curtain for the Charlotte Colonels, owner Adam Butler. Picture this, a 67-year-old baseball lifer with nearly 3 decades in the game, perched in a plush leather chair, smoothie in hand, a smile on his face. The guy's as normal and easygoing and personable as they come, a welcome reprieve from the fire-breathing, win-at-all-cost types. His clubhouse? More like a chill room than a military base. But don't let that cool demeanor fool you, the man's got his goals. He's demanding, economizer, hands-off, a tricky cocktail that screams, win, but don't break the bank, and don't make me come down there. His aspirations? A humble 500 ball and a playoff berth. Sure, he might not be pushing the envelope in the negotiation room, but he's not sitting idly by either. The Colonels are cruising steady under Butler, not shooting for the moon, but certainly not plummeting towards Earth. In the high-stakes gamble that is baseball, that, my friends, might just be the best strategy.
Question 2. What roles do the front office and coaches play in the team's success or struggles? Are they aligned with the owner's vision?
The Colonels' brain trust, a symphony of styles behind the dugout.
All right, gather round, baseball aficionados, because here's the lowdown on the Charlotte Colonels backroom band. At the helm, you've got General Manager Jose Ruiz, a guy with an excellent reputation and a negotiation style that's as unpredictable as a knuckleball, but always lands in the strike zone. Manager Jason Wainwright is 46 years young with 14 years under his belt, a good reputation, and a personable type. What's more, the guy's demeanor is as easygoing as a Sunday afternoon ball game. His style? Conventional, but effective. Then there's hitting coach Bill Carolina, the epitome of patience, and Tony Brown, a pitching coach who loves his hurlers like power chords in a rock song. Let's not forget bench coach Jason Eatman, a steady hand in the chaos of a ninth inning. These guys are the unsung ensemble behind Adam Butler's vision, a motley crew for sure, but one that's singing from the same songbook. The owner wants 500 ball and a playoff run. These are the men who can make that tune a chart topper. So, are the Colonels going to hit high notes this season? Maybe, maybe not. But they've got the harmonies down, and in baseball, that's half the battle.
Question 3. How does the team's financial health reflect in its performance?
Walking the financial tightrope, the Charlotte Colonels' money game.
All right, folks, let's break it down like an umpire explaining a balk. The Charlotte Colonels have got themselves a $9 million payroll, just a smidge under their $11.2 million budget. It's like taking a fastball just inside the strike zone, close, but no cigar. Total revenue? Nearly $8.7 million, which is like sliding into second base with your shoelaces untied, risky, but they're safe for now. Merchandise revenue is barely a blip on the radar. So, are they getting bang for their buck? Well, that's like asking if a pitcher's ERA tells the whole story. They're not splurging like a rookie with his first paycheck, but they're not exactly pinching pennies like a third base coach arguing a call. Bottom line, they've got just enough to make some noise, but not enough to be the life of the party. It's a financial balancing act, like a batter with a 3-2 count, one wrong move, and it's game over.
Question 4. How has fan interest evolved over time, and what does it mean for the team's revenue and player acquisitions?
The fan gauge, Charlotte Colonels rise from lukewarm to toasty.
Keep your hands inside the car, folks. The Charlotte Colonels have been on a roller coaster of fan love since '72, starting off at a not-too-shabby '77. They hit a speed bump, bottoming out at '70, but have been on the express elevator up, peaking at '82 and '81. Now, what does this upswing mean? First off, more jingling in the cash register. We're talking ticket sales, hot dogs, and maybe even some jersey sales if they play their cards right. But here's the twist, this newfound love from the stands can be both a blessing and a curse. Sure, players might want to join a team that's the talk of the town, but you also got fans now expecting a showstopper every night. And that kind of pressure can make even a seasoned GM second-guess a trade. So, the Colonels are walking a tightrope, balancing fan expectations with fiscal sanity. Like a closer stepping up with bases loaded, the next move is critical.
Question 5. What is the current mood among the fan base, and how could it impact the team in the short term?
The Charlotte Buzz, a fan base ready to ignite.
Alright, let's talk about the Charlotte Colonels fan scene, which is hotter than a pitcher on a no-hit streak. Charlotte's got itself a big market and fans as loyal as a packed house at the Motor Speedway. With an average attendance pushing the envelope at 24,491 in a 26,000-seat house, folks, we're not just talking fans, we're talking diehards. It's like a rock concert every night, with 94.2% of seats filled. Even in the last 30 days, fan interest ticked up a notch. In the short run, this is like giving your slugger a corked bat. You're just adding power to an already potent lineup. A crowd this jazzed can turn base hits into standing ovations and strikeouts into folklore. With fans this locked in, don't be surprised if the front office rolls the dice on a blockbuster trade or even hikes up ticket prices a smidgen. Because let's face it, in Charlotte, baseball isn't just a sport, it's the hottest ticket in town.
Question 6. How is the team faring in the league standings, and what factors are contributing to their performance?
The Colonels charge, dominating home turf but room for road warrior status.
Listen up, baseball buffs, the Charlotte Colonels are more than just making noise, they're setting off fireworks in the NBC Eastern Division. With 13 wins, 6 losses, and a winning percentage that would make a Wall Street broker jealous, these guys are leading the division like a seasoned conductor leads an orchestra, every note just about perfect. A run differential of plus 22? That's not just winning, that's putting on a show. But hold on, the story's got a few more chapters, a home record that's practically unbeatable at 8-1 but a middle-of-the-road 5-5 when they hit the asphalt. Throw in a strength of schedule at a mere 0.468, and you gotta wonder, are the Colonels kings of the hill or just big fish in a small pond? Sure, they've got the flair for dramatics, going 3-2 in extra innings, but those one-run games at 3-4? That's the itch they've yet to scratch. So, folks, the Colonels are like a tantalizing novel you can't put down. You're hooked, but you're not quite sure how it's gonna end.
Question 7. What are the team's odds of making the playoffs on a divisional and conference level?
The Colonels playoff roulette, a spin worth taking.
Okay, get your calculators out because the Charlotte Colonels are dealing in percentages that would make a math teacher blush. With a 71.9% chance of being division champs and a 76.3% shot at crashing the playoff party, the Colonels are looking like a safe bet in a high-stakes game. But wait, let's not print those playoff tickets just yet. The first place odds are sitting at a more humbling 11.9%. So, yeah, they're likely to be in the mix, but don't crown them kings just yet. It's like being ahead in the 7th inning, a lot can still happen. These odds are the baseball equivalent of a hanging curveball, tempting but risky. The Colonels have the numbers on their side, but this is baseball, where a slump or a hot streak can turn odds into old news. So, the Colonels are in the driver's seat, but they haven't crossed the finish line. And in this game, it's not about the odds, it's about beating them, right?
Question 8. How do base runs and ELO ratings paint a picture of the team's true strengths and weaknesses?
The Colonels number game, a tale of rising fortunes.
Alright, ABL fans, the Charlotte Colonels are serving up a buffet of juicy numbers, and let me tell you, the stats are mouth-watering. With base runs almost spot on, 87 runs scored against an expected 85, and 65 runs allowed versus an expected 71, the Colonels are hitting their marks like a seasoned archer. They're not just flukes, they're clutch performers on both sides of the ball. And, oh boy, the ELO ratings are like a stock you wish you'd invested in. Kicking off 1981 at 1,515.5 and now lounging at a comfy 1,534.8, that's a team that's not just winning but winning in style. These Colonels are like a country song in reverse. They're getting everything back: runs, defense, and a climbing ELO. So what's the takeaway? The Colonels are a balanced powerhouse on a hot streak, and right now, they're making the numbers dance to their tune.
Question 9. What does the team's war indicate about its most valuable players?
The Colonels' unsung heroes, a study in balanced war.
Let's talk war, not the kind with trenches and tanks, but wins above replacement. The Charlotte Colonels are sporting a total war of 5.76, and let me spill the tea, it's a balanced act. The batters are holding their own with a 2.21 war, doing their job but not exactly stealing the limelight. Now, the pitchers, they're the rock stars of this show with a war of 3.55. These guys could probably pitch their way out of a paper bag if they had to. And that balance? It's like a well-crafted playlist, no one-hit wonders here. With a wins-minus war sitting at 7.25, this team isn't riding on the coattails of a single superstar. Instead, they're like a well-rehearsed band, everyone's contributing to the hit record. So, if you're looking for MVPs, don't just skin the batting stats, tip your cap to those arms dealing magic from the mound.
Question 10. How have injuries impacted the team's performance and depth?
The cost of Band-Aids and benches, the Colonels' injury quagmire.
Let's talk about the one stat no one likes but everyone faces, the disabled list. Ranked 12th in the league, the Charlotte Colonels have 3 players nursing injuries, racking up 46 days on the DL and sidelining $83,200 in player value. While they're still leading their division, you've got to wonder if they could be lapping the competition if they had a full roster. These injuries are like a slow leak in a tire, not enough to stop you, but enough to make you wobble. It's a depth test, folks, a second stringer's time to shine. So far, the Colonels are holding the fort, but in this long season, it's less about the sprint and more about the marathon. And nobody wants to run a marathon with a limp.
Question 11. What do the team's batting statistics reveal about its offensive capabilities?
Swinging for the fences and hitting the gaps, the Colonels' balanced batting attack.
Let's cut to the chase. The Charlotte Colonels are no joke when it comes to offensive firepower. With 87 runs, 10 homers, and a strikeout rate of just 15.9%, these guys are more than just swinging for the fences, they're playing smart baseball. But hold on, it ain't all power. An isolated power, ISO, of .121 tells you they're hitting those gaps, getting extra base hits without always sending it over the wall. Now, here's the kicker, a .341 on-base percentage. That means they're not just hitting, they're walking, they're grinding, they're getting on base. They may not have the league's flashiest batting average at .260, but with a BOBIP of .304, they're making the most of their opportunities. In a nutshell, the Colonels are a pitcher's nightmare and a manager's dream, a balanced lineup that knows how to score without relying on the big fly. And in this game, balance isn't just key, it's everything.
Question 12. How does the pitching staff stack up against divisional and conference competition?
The Mound Maestros, Charlotte Colonels pitching staff aces the test.
Hey, baseball fans, let's toast to the real rock stars of the Charlotte Colonels, the pitching staff. With an ERA of 3.04 and a FIP of 3.87, these guys are not just throwing darts, they're painting masterpieces on the corners of the plate. But wait, there's more. A strikeout rate of 17% and a walk rate of just 9.15%? That's not just control, that's poetry in motion. And let's not forget the LOB percent at 78.3%, they're like escape artists, leaving runners stranded and biting the dust. Even the long ball isn't a concern with the HR/FB ratio of 6.2%. Folks, whether it's divisional or conference competition, these hurlers are holding their own and then some. In a nutshell, the Colonels have a pitching staff that could very well be the unsung hero come the postseason. So, sit back and enjoy the show because these guys are dealing nothing but aces.
Question 13. Are the team's fielding statistics a strength or a weakness?
The Leather Report, Colonels fielding a mixed bag of brilliance and blemishes.
Let's chew the fat about the Charlotte Colonels' leather game. With a zone rating of 2.67 and a defensive efficiency of 0.722, these guys aren't just standing around picking daisies. They're getting down and dirty, snagging liners and turning 22 double plays like they're flipping burgers at a summer cookout. But hold on, not so fast. There's a cloud hovering over that outfield, particularly in center, with a ZR of -3.25. That's a red flag bigger than the one you see when your in-law's car pulls into the driveway. And those 8 errors? They've got to clean that up if they want to be the full package. But let's tip our caps to the gunslinging arm behind the plate, throwing out runners at a clip of 61.54%. So, is their fielding a blessing or a curse? It's like a classic rock album, some hits, some tracks you'd skip. But tighten up that outfield and those errors, and they could be producing platinum fine-tuning.
Question 14. What do base running stats say about the team's tactical approach?
The base paths gamble, Colonels' risky base running a double-edged sword.
Let me spill the beans, ABL fans. The Charlotte Colonels are like that buddy who thinks he's a card shark but can't help going all in on a pair of threes. 16 stolen bases scream, we're go-getters. But whoa Nelly! 15 caught stealings? That's not just bad luck, that's a strategy gone awry. With a dismal stolen base percentage of 51.6% and a weighted stolen bases, WSB, score of -2.43, they're not just rolling the dice, they're throwing him off the table. Sure, they've got runners, 120 singles, 69 walks, and 15 hit-by pitches. But what's the point if they're getting tagged out before they can even think about sliding into second? In a high-stakes game of baseball, they've got the guts but need to find some brains to go with them. Otherwise, their base running will be a tale of what could have been, instead of what was.
Question 15. Who are the standout performers in batting, and what do their stats reveal?
The triple threat, Colonels' batting virtuosos hit all the right notes.
Ever been to a concert where the band's got a killer lead guitar, a smooth bassist, and a drummer who knows just when to let it rip? That's the Charlotte Colonels lineup for you. First up, we got Manny Flores, the 24-year-old first baseman who's got an eye for the ball like an eagle spotting dinner. Check out that .423 OBP and .955 OPS. Then, slide over to Alex Gonzalez, the 26-year-old second baseman. With a .362 OBP and .770 OPS, he's like the steady baseline that keeps the groove going. Finally, don't sleep on Michael Dickens in right field. The guy's a Swiss Army knife, power, speed, and a knack for getting on base with a .352 OBP. They're not just hitting, they're making sweet baseball music. And let me tell you, that's a tune I could listen to all season long.
Question 16. Who are the key figures in the pitching staff, and how do they influence games?
The 3 mound maestros, Colonels' pitching trio hits all the right notes.
Folks, sit back and let me spin you a yarn about the Charlotte Colonels trio of mound maestros, each one hitting different notes but together composing a symphony of strikeouts and stranded runners. First up, Jose Hernandez, the 25-year-old starter. With an ERA of 3.857 and a WAR of 0.80, he's like that energetic drummer setting the beat, even if he occasionally misses a snare hit with those walks. Then you got Debir Ali, 24, a prodigy throwing an almost unreal ERA of 0.783. This guy's the lead guitar, stealing the spotlight with a jaw-dropping LOB percent of 97.35%. Finally, the bassist holding it all together, Roberto Umana, 29, a seasoned vet with an ERA of 1.723 and an LOB percent that screams you shall not pass, at 88.65%. These guys are the reason you buy a ticket, the reason you stay through the 9th inning. Keep an eye on them, because they're writing the soundtrack for a season that could end in fireworks.
Question 17. Who excels in base running and fielding, and how do they impact the game's outcome?
The unsung heroes, how base running and fielding steal the show.
The thrill of the steal and the grace of a glove. Let's talk about the Charlotte Colonels' unsung heroes who can flip the script of a game faster than you can say double play. On the base running front, Michael Dickens is your flash of lightning, swiping 7 bags with a 70% success rate. Then there's Mario De La Torre, a man who picks his moments like a sniper, boasting a 100% stolen base percentage. Over in the field, it's Alex Gonzalez at second base who's the human vacuum, with a zone rating that's off the charts. Manny Flores at first and Dustin Meredith in left aren't just bystanders, they're veritable fortresses with their stellar fielding percentages and zone ratings. These guys might not make the front page, but believe me, they're the plot twist in many a game story. Keep your eye on them, they're the X factors that turn near misses into W's.
Question 18. What does the team's age demographic reveal about its experience and future potential?
The age of opportunity, a blend of wisdom and promise in the Colonels roster.
ABL fans, feast your eyes on this. The Charlotte Colonels have themselves an age demographic that's like your favorite classic rock album, timeless hits mixed with hidden gems. The average age in the majors clocks in at 28.46 years. The pitchers, averaging nearly 30, bring that sage-like wisdom to the mound, while the batters at around 28 are in that sweet spot where talent meets maturity. Slide down to the AAA level, and you've got seasoned backups ready to make the leap. But don't overlook the young guns in AA and A-ball. They're the next wave, the future chart toppers. What does this all mean? The Colonels have built a roster that's a perfect blend of the here and now and the what could be. That's not just good planning, that's a dynasty in the making.
Question 19. Who has had the best batting and pitching games, and what do these performances signify for the team?
Single-game wonders, a glimpse of the Colonels' game-changing talent.
Let's raise a toast to those once-in-a-blue-moon games that have fans buzzing long after the last out. Santiago Castro's April 18th matchup against Detroit was nothing short of a fireworks display, belting 2 homers and driving in 4 runs. Talk about a showstopper. Then there's Roberto Umana, the mound magician, who on April 15th against Minneapolis pitched a complete game shutout that was as close to a work of art as you get in baseball. A game score of 90? That's like hitting the jackpot and the lottery in the same day. Performances like these don't just pad stats, they instill fear in the opposition and inject a jolt of unshakable confidence into the Colonels' dugout. In a league where momentum can flip faster than a shortstop turns a double play, having these game changers is like holding a royal flush. You're always in the game.
Question 20. What does your gut tell you about this team in the 1981 championship season and the Grand Tournament of Champions?
A gut feeling, the Charlotte Colonels' unwritten destiny in 1981.
Listen up, ABL aficionados. You can crunch numbers until the cows come home, but there's an art to reading the tea leaves of a baseball season. Here's the gut punch. The Charlotte Colonels are a slow burn stunner. This team has the makings of a late-season juggernaut, a fireworks finale waiting to happen. When the dog days of summer hit and the pennant races heat up, watch for these guys to move up the leaderboard like a stealthy cat stalking its prey. And when we get to the Grand Tournament of Champions, buckle up, because these Colonels have the ingredients for a deep October run. They've got aces up their sleeves, sluggers who can knock the leather off the ball, and those indispensable X-factors, the unsung heroes who can swing a game faster than you can say grand slam. So, go ahead and jot this down. The Colonels are your dark horse, a sleeping giant that might just wake up and stomp their way into the annals of ABL glory.
Question 21. What is the team's history in the Grand Tournament of Champions?
The Charlotte Colonels, a tale of G2C elusiveness.
Alright, gather round, baseball aficionados, and let's chew the fat on the Charlotte Colonels, the Hamlet of the Grand Tournament of Champions. Think about it, the year is 1980, and our Colonels are slugging it out in a titanic clash with the Chicago Fire. This series is so razor-thin, you could shave with it. But, in the end, our heroes fell just a smidgen short of the prize. Before that bout? Nada, zilch. The Colonels were the Loch Ness monster of the postseason, always rumored, never confirmed. What's the deal? Is it the scouts, the suits in the front office, or just the baseball gods having a laugh? The jury's out, but let me tell you, it's been nearly a decade of yearning for that October spotlight. Is this the year they finally make their mark? Until that day, besides Philly, they're the league's biggest riddle, as puzzling as a hidden ball trick you never saw coming.
Question 22. What is the team's history in previous seasons?
The Charlotte Colonels, a roller coaster through time.
Alright, ABL faithful, buckle up. We're taking a wild ride through the up and down history of the Charlotte Colonels. Picture them stumbling out of the gate in the early 70s, their bats as cold as a day-old hot dog and attendance just lukewarm. But hey, they started to find their footing in the mid-70s, even tickling the notion of a .525 win percentage and warming the seats with over 1.3 million fans. Just when you thought they'd keep climbing, the late 70s threw them a curveball, landing them back in 4th place. But don't count them out. They roared back at the turn of the 80s, even making a playoff cameo in 1980. Now, here we are in 81, and folks, they're sitting pretty atop the division with bats blazing. Over the years, they've been a mixed bag with a win percentage of .462, but the winds of change are blowing, and the financial coffers are swelling. Let's just say this, these Colonels might just be cooking up a secret recipe for a Cinderella story.
Question 23. What's your take on last season?
The 1980 season, Charlotte Colonels high-water mark.
Let's stroll down memory lane to the golden year of 1980 for the Charlotte Colonels. Imagine a team snapping out of mediocrity to roar like a lion. They put up a 91-71 record, and with a .562 winning percentage, you better believe they meant business. Their bats were singing to the tune of a .238 average, the best they'd ever seen. But don't forget the guys on the mound. They clocked an ERA of 3.15, making opposing batters quiver in their cleats. For the first time, they danced into the postseason, and folks, the city responded. Over 2 million fans flocked to the games. Add to that a fat payroll and a well-fed balance sheet, and you've got a year that wasn't just a flash in the pan, it was a blazing comet that signaled the Colonels had arrived. Man, 1980 wasn't just a good year, it was the year the Colonels stamped their name on the ABL map.
Question 24. How does what happened in the 1980 season reflect on the 1981 early campaign?
1981, riding the tailwinds of a breakout year.
Fans, let's chew on this. The Charlotte Colonels are acting like 1980 wasn't a fluke, but a sign of things to come. They've got that winning gleam in their eye, and boy, are they showing it in 81 with a hot 13-6 start. Playoff experience? Check. It's like a shot of adrenaline that's got them going from the get-go. And let's talk about loyalty. Most of their 1980 heroes are back, and the chemistry is palpable. Fan support? Through the roof, my friends. After pulling in over 2 million fans last year, the stadium's buzzing like a hornet's nest. And don't even get me started on their bank balance. Almost $7 million in the kitty means they can wheel and deal like Wall Street tycoons. Listen, Charlotte fans, when I tell you, these Colonels are cooking with gas. They took that 1980 magic, bottled it, and they're sprinkling it all over the 1981 season. Mark my words, we might be witnessing the birth of a dynasty here.
Question 25. What is your take on the current roster?
The 1981 Colonels, a sequel worth watching.
Let's serve this one straight up. These 1981 Charlotte Colonels are sizzling like a summer barbecue. We've got starters Roberto Umana and DeBeer Alley dealing fire from the mound. Although someone might want to get them a Gatorade, they're running on fumes. The bullpen's got young guns like Cameron Jones and Bill Mendoza throwing smoke. On the diamond, Manny Flores is the kind of guy you build a team around, sturdy as a brick house with a .290 average. And don't sleep on Cody Larkin behind the plate. His on-base percentage says he's got an eye like an eagle. Sure, there are some kinks to iron out, like injuries to Yendu and Chris Donovan, but what's a storyline without a little drama? Listen, folks, if the 1980 season was a blockbuster movie, then 1981 is shaping up to be the sequel that's not just cashing in, it's cashing in and raising the stakes. Grab your popcorn, this is must-see ABL. Well, there you have it, a magnifying glass look at the Charlotte Colonels. We've dissected their strengths, weaknesses, and everything in between. We've peeked into the owner's suite, dug into the dugout, and even scoped out the fans in the bleachers. And let me tell you, what a ride it's been. Like a well-pitched game, we've covered all the bases, but remember, baseball is a game of unpredictability. Just when you think you've got it figured out, it throws you a curveball. Will the Colonels seize this moment to shatter their long-standing postseason enigma, or are we in for another chapter of tantalizing missed opportunities? The next stretch of games holds the answer, folks. The drama, the suspense, the unscripted theater of sports. Isn't it grand? Stay tuned, baseball fans. The Colonel's tale is far from over, and the next chapter promises to be a page-turner. Big Earl here, folks. Keep your eyes peeled for future reports as we navigate through the twists and turns of another gripping ABL season. So, whether you're a die-hard Colonels fan or just love the game, the best is yet to come. Until next time, this is the game.